What up? What up? What up? It's Rec League Podcast, man. Y'all know me. My name is Randy Little. I've been doing this like 2.5 years. If you're new to the show, for y'all that have been watching for those 2.5 years, it is highly appreciated. I hope everybody out there who pays attention to this show had a Merry Christmas. I hope through safe social distancing, my least favorite term of the year, and I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas, had time to reflect on loved ones and spending time with them, and even if it was through a screen. And if I can be of any service, I hope that this podcast and the dope discussions that we put out serve as some kind of release, some kind of escape from how shitty this year might be. Um, but one of my bros just had a child, so this year isn't all bad. Um, so on this episode, we're gonna talk about our three favorite movies of the year, and my guy E-Sig, he is in this. Nick Goodman is in this. Melissa from the last episode, Toronto's very own, comes back, and we talk a little bit, like one news topic that I didn't want to let go into January, and then just our three favorite movies of the year. Um, I as I record, I don't know what I'm gonna say for sports. I'm gonna ramble off top of my head for sports, and kind of the same for music, man, because I should be talking about my three favorite albums of the year. I'll shout out some music, but that leads me into an announcement. One of my bros, like I said, just had a child. Another has life going on. I'm gonna cut back for the foreseeable future. I don't know if it's gonna be permanent, but starting the next episode, whenever that is, in 2 weeks, in a month, um, I'm not gonna do as much sports. I'm not gonna do as much music, cause like I can do an intro like this. Doing an intro like this is cool, but I can't. I don't like talking about a sports topic, a music topic, without somebody to bounce off of. And if I have to say that this podcast has a weak spot, it's that I don't always have somebody to go for those segments. Um, like I said, they might come back, they might not. Like I'm unsure, but I think on the social networks, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I'm still gonna celebrate like album anniversaries. I'm still gonna post league standings. Like I have fun doing that, even if nobody cares. Um, so Blu-rays, nothing's come out within the last 2 weeks. Like the last big Blu-ray release was Tenet, and that was shouted on the last episode. Honest Thief with Liam Neeson comes out this Tuesday, and the Tuesday after that, I'm not sure. Like I don't know what comes out in January until that accepted glow up, as the kids say. But when I come back, I'm gonna have a panel, and we're gonna talk about our favorite movies of 2020. It's Rec League, baby. All right, we back. It's Rec League, and we doing our favorite movies of the year. We're gonna do three favorite movies. Got the return of Miss Melissa in Toronto, E-Sig, Nicholas Artemis Bartholomew Goodman, and I didn't want to do news, but then the Coming to America trailer came out, so I want to get reactions. Nick, what you think?
It looks hilarious.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of ready for like the trailer to be like ho hum, but to like be excited for the movie. But like the trailer made me laugh out loud, which I love. So that's like more than I like wanted from the trailer. Like I was like I'd be fine with whatever, but like the fact that I watched it was like laughing and like rewatched it as soon as I was done. Like I'm excited. I just wish it would have come out in December.
Yeah, this past weekend.
But like, yeah, I can't wait.
Eric?
Like Nick said, it's surprisingly, well, not surprisingly, but it looks great, and I was surprised to see, but I shouldn't have been, that a lot of the characters are coming back, like the barbershop characters, and I'm like, oh, like why wouldn't they bring them back? But I'm glad they did. But now I'm curious to get to the movie. I kind of wish I hadn't watched it. I'm gonna want to see it more now. But yeah, it's we'll see what happens. It's from the same director as my name is Dolomite, right?
Yeah. And Hustle and Flow and Black Snake Moan and the Footloose remake.
Yeah, and it's production value looks great, and I'll tell you that much. But yeah, now I just can't wait to see it. I'm excited for it.
Melissa, did you see it?
I'm really sorry, not yet. I'm excited now.
Yeah. It was just like, hey guys, look at all this stuff you're familiar with from the first movie, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, I was expecting, like, I didn't even know for sure until I saw the pictures. I was like, are they going to bring the barber guys back? Because they'd be old.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, it's been like 30-some years.
Now, what you doing here, Hotel Rwanda?
I just said, like, they're back in the thing. And they got all the laughs from the trailer, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Day one. Like, I don't even care.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that was it as far as news. So, Eric, my first curveball goes to you.
Uh-oh.
What was your least favorite movie of the year?
Least favorite movie of the year? Oh, I wish I'd have known. I don't know. It's probably.
I told you I had curveballs. I didn't prep anybody on my curveballs.
Yeah, all right. That's fair enough. Well, Wonder Woman 84 did come out over the weekend, but that's not it. I probably had to say that in New Mutants.
Troll. For Wonder Woman, not New Mutants. New Mutants is fair.
Yeah, I'd say New Mutants is it's very interesting too. Have y'all seen New Mutants?
Yeah.
No. But the funny thing about that movie is it's kind of a bad movie. It's not your typical bad movie. The third act, in my opinion, is actually good.
Yeah.
And it's just like everything is like boring and kind of just inconsistent, and I'm like, what the hell is this?
Sorry, what movie is this?
New Mutants.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's right off the top of my head. I'm sure it's something that was worse that I probably blocked out. but he threw a curveball, so
yeah. Man, New Mutants to me, like, it was fine. It was like, let's meet these characters. Anya Taylor-Joy's the quippy badass, and then the third act with powers and action, and it was entertaining. Melissa, do you have your least favorite movie of the year?
Yeah, I'm like you. I watched a whole bunch, so I ranked everything. The worst one on my list seems to be Like a Boss. This seems like years ago, right?
Oh yeah.
Salma Hayek. Oh my god. I didn't even finish it, so I don't even know if I should count it. But I had kind of high expectations, which was a mistake. The trailer was kind of cute, and Rowan was like dancing, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, I like women's movies, obviously. And it was just so bad. And Salma Hayek has obviously gotten new teeth or something, and it was just so it was crazy. Yeah, that one is on my worst. I'm sorry, Like a Boss. It was just bad.
I remember telling these guys that I was thinking about going to see it, and I never did.
Exactly. Yeah. I might have even gone to the theater. I don't remember, but I ended up seeing it after it was released, and it was just like, oh, God, no.
Nick?
All right. My worst, like I was just saying, is Artemis Fowl. But I don't think a lot of people watched on Disney Plus. It was supposed to come out in theaters like last year.
Yeah.
And didn't. And they really didn't even announce it. Like when they kept pushing it back, they were like, it was supposed to come out in August and just like didn't come out in August. And then it was supposed to come out in May of this year and just like didn't. They were just like, well, maybe we'll just push it. So it's like my expectations weren't high going in. like she just said, like maybe her expectations. My expectations, I think, were tempered, and it was still just bad. And it was directed by Kenneth Branagh.
Wow.
Was it really?
Like you'd think he could at least handle it. Like it doesn't have to be great, but he could at least rein in the movie. But
he was too
Josh
busy with Death on
Gad's
the Nile.
character- like he did a great job with that. He did Thor. Like you'd think he could do these like big budget kind of fantasy type movies, but like it's narrated by Josh Gad's character, and he's narrating things that he was not even around to see in the movie. So it's clear that he was added afterwards to add something to the story, and it's like the action scenes make no sense. Characters disappear and then just like appear later in the scene. Like there's this big battle, and like there's a person in this house that is supposed to have been in this house the whole time. She's nowhere to be seen in the battle, and then when the battle's over, she's like, "Oh man, that was crazy." And it's like, "What? You weren't there." Like it's just little thing. Like it's a bunch of little things that just keep piling up. There's no one like.
It's a mess of a movie. You see what the delays were for. They obviously were trying to edit it into something coherent.
Just like incohesive, just a mess. Like some off jump, like a first frame. It's like, okay, like trying to understand like the story they're even trying to tell. Not good. It was far and away the worst of them. It was the only movie I gave below 2 stars. This whole
Really?
It makes me laugh. Like I can't even listen to this guy. I'm laughing through the whole thing. It's really good.
True.
Love it. Good question, Randy, to bring out everyone's like snark.
Artemis Fowl was worse than my least favorite. One of you two, Nick, Eric, one of you two knows my least favorite movie.
What is it?
I'm throwing it out there so y'all can guess.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Let's see. It's so much crap that came out.
Because on my,
there's a lot of 2 stars and 2.5 stars on my ranking, but like
on my letterbox for the year, I keep it private until the end of the year.
You're generous, Nick. I have a lot of 1/2 star, 1 star. I have a lot of those.
Yeah, usually I won't go below like 1 star.
Yeah.
I'll give like 1 star, 1.5, but I rarely give 5s either. I give a lot of 4.5s.
1 is like, you know what? Congratulations, you made a movie. Done. 1 star, right?
1 is like, I guess this is a film. 1.5 is like, this is a movie.
I guess I did give it a 2.
Uh,
My least favorite movie this year was Capone.
Doolittle
was second to last.
Oh, I forgot it came out. This.
Wait, what was it?
Randy, what was it?
Capone.
Oh, Capone is pretty low. Capone
Man,
is, I think my bottom 5 or 6.
I like Tom Hardy movies. I love gangster movies. I was hoping after hearing all the horror stories from Fantastic Four, I was really hoping like Josh Trank had this big epic comeback. And for years you hear he's making a movie about Al Capone just like aging, but the dementia, he literally shits himself. It's Tom, and Tom Hardy's barely understandable.
Yeah, that shit was pretty bad.
I don't even talk about that shit no more.
2.5 and went back and changed it to a 2 after thinking about it for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That was stupid. That was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I have no recollection of this.
I didn't even buy it. Like even if there's bad movies, in a year that I can like sympathize with, I'll go back and still buy it. I didn't even buy Capone.
Mm-hmm.
Randy, what was you said your second to worst? What was that?
Doolittle.
Oh yeah. I would never even try that one. Sorry.
Oh, Doolittle's low, but it's not like bottom.
The trailer made me so angry just watching that trailer.
Some about Doolittle, there's like a charm to Doolittle that I couldn't get past. That I was like, I didn't hate it.
I think I read that it's like more accurate to the source material.
I don't know. They were pulling stuff out of the dragon's ass. That's where it lost me.
That was
like fine.
That was everybody's big complaint, but it served the plot though.
Did it?
It pushed the plot.
Changed the plot.
Could we have changed the plot?
We need a new plot.
Yeah, you're probably right. My go-to Dr. Doolittle is still the first Eddie Murphy.
I think the dragon, they could have changed it and had the dragon give birth. Would have been nicer. She could have laid an egg or whatever dragons do.
Oh, there was an
They
egg
were like,
laid.
Dragon, I thought you guys were kidding.
Right.
No, there's a dragon in a cave, and the dragon's like blocking the cave, and they're like, "Oh no, we can't get past this dragon." And he's like, "It's like, no, look at her, she's in pain." And so they like pull stuff out of the dragon's ass.
Oh my god. It's not making me want to see it.
And Robert Downey Jr. is obviously.
Spoiler alert! It came out like a year ago.
It's not a spoiler. That's a warning.
Yeah.
Spoiler. They're pulling out like swords and armor and stuff.
Hey,
And they're
that
just
shit
like,
was originally Doolittle was originally scheduled to come out before Endgame.
Right. And I see why they probably.
That's
well,
as soon as the trailer. I had forgotten all about it, and then the trailer dropped in like November, and was like coming in January, and it was this big kind of prestigious trailer that made it look like this like fantastic movie, and my first thought was like, I'll bet this sucks. Like I was like, I'll go see it, but I'll bet this isn't
and
good.
what the heck is RDJ doing? He's obviously a good actor. He seems to be experimenting because that accent isn't necessarily.
That was also bad.
I've already forgot that accent.
I think we all hated Doolittle more than we're like.
Yeah, I forgot about
But
that.
that's the thing.
Like,
That's the thing between Doolittle and Capone. I bought Doolittle.
Yeah, so did I.
It's bad, but I bought it.
I would rewatch Doolittle. I don't ever see myself rewatching Capone.
Exactly.
Yeah, unless maybe like Tom Hardy dies or something.
Oh God, don't say that.
Ominous.
Like, I hope he doesn't, but like if I do like a marathon or something, even then though, like I'd watch Legend instead.
Even then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the Tom Hardy go-to gangster movie for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Lawless. He wasn't really
Ooh,
gangster.
Lawless is
Anyway.
so underrated.
Right? See?
Yeah. Lawless is great.
And like it shouldn't have been called Capone. Like Capone
It originally wasn't. They
it's like a biopic, and it really wasn't.
right. They had another name for it. I mean, probably look it up throughout, but it wasn't. they changed it
Dumpster
at the
Fire,
last
directed by
minute.
Josh Trank.
That dude was so stoked for that to come out. Like he was so ready to like rebuild his name.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. It's like, oh, maybe you're just not that good. Oh,
Yeah,
It's
what's
sad.
the name was a fluke.
But Chronicle.
Chronicle.
Oh, Chronicle is so amazing.
Chronicle's cool.
All right, I want to go. I want to go 3-1. So, whose turn is it to go first? Melissa, you got your number 3, or is it Nick's turn?
You mean the top 3? Or
Yeah. We're jumping into normal top 3s now.
Oh, top 3 of the year, right?
Yeah, so 3-1. We'll do our 3s, then our 2s, then our 1s.
Oh, okay. For my third, I mean, I really haven't seen that many Hollywood movies this year. I'm really excited for Promising Young Woman. I think that's really going to be up my alley. But my number 3, I put The Kid Detective. Did anyone watch this, starring Adam Brody?
I haven't seen it.
It's
It
good.
was playing in the theater. I heard it was good.
It's good. I think it's out on streaming, and it kind of won me over. You know, if you like private eye movies, I don't want to say too much. It's obviously a mystery, but it really won me over. I really ended up enjoying it. I would recommend it. Did anyone see Brick by Ryan Johnson?
Yes.
I haven't.
2005. Like, and that's obviously a better version of this. That one's
Okay.
better. I'd say, really stylish, really polished. This one doesn't really have style, but the story was just so good. So I really liked it.
Nice.
All right, Nick, what you got?
All right. First off, just real quick. We're not doing it, but I'm doing it because whatever. My honorable mention, my number 4 is The Way Back with Ben Affleck.
That's your number
I
4?
want to say, just
I know you guys
that's my
love
number
that
4.
movie.
It just outside of my top 3,
Yeah.
but
Get
I
ready for
feel
the
like-
snub.
yeah, I want people to go. If you haven't seen The Way Back, it's super good. Ben Affleck's best performance of his career. It's Oscar worthy.
You're stepping on my
And
fucking
look at-
toes.
I'm sorry, but that's my number 4. If anyone else wants to talk about it, we can talk about it more because it was a great movie. My number 3 is a Netflix movie. Actually, that's just how the year goes. It is
Hey.
The Trial of the Chicago
Those
Seven.
count. That was your
Um,
one like 3 weeks ago.
It was.
Wow.
It has been replaced twice in the last week
Wow.
and a half. Yeah. Just, you know. Anyway, Aaron Sorkin's second directed movie. He also does a screenplay, the rat-a-tat dialogue. It's fantastic. He's got this massive cast, like people getting Oscar-worthy performances. Sacha Baron Cohen, Eddie Redmayne.
I love Sasha. Oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
Just I named two people, but there's like a massive cast. And everybody's good. Like there were hardly any missteps in the whole movie. Like it's this long, drawn out like court process with this long cast of characters, and every character is supposed to be important in some kind of way. And I thought it pretty much all worked. Like it's a rarity with like a big ensemble like legal drama like that. Yeah, if you haven't seen it, super great. I hope it wins like a lot of Oscars. I think it might.
Yeah, that's a Netflix movie I want to see that I'll never get to.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you.
You should have done it before this, probably. Oh man,
Eric, what you got?
Yes. All right, I guess I'm coming off the list different already. My movie is a Spanish language movie.
nice.
And look at Randy.
All right.
And I think this movie for a lot of people is gonna get lost in a bunch. And this movie has a really important underlying message about society and how we treat each other, and still on top it's stuff inside of an awesome I can't think of the word, but a presentation or whatnot. So technically it's a Netflix picked the movie up. It technically was made in 2019, but came out in March 2020, so it applies. And The Platform is my number 3 movie.
It's called The Platform?
Oh yeah, you haven't seen it?
Of course
I haven't
not.
seen
Have you seen it, Nick?
I haven't. I can't keep up with Netflix. Like,
yeah, it's that's what I mean. This is proving my point.
list. It's hard to keep up.
Yeah, this is proving my point that it's
And
so
they don't hype it
Netflix
up.
they're so trying to work on that infinite scroll that good movies like this get lost in a bunch.
Infinite
And I highly
Scroll. I like that. Yeah.
what's that?
Infinite Scroll.
That's what it seems like. Then like Nick was saying, I think on the last show, that they seem to advertise right when you log in the most.
Top 10.
Yeah, the top 10 and the like Ava.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, why are they pushing that so much?
Yeah, the movie sucked. It's in my bottom. That's in my bottom like 5.
But no, The Platform and but like I said, this is proving my point that y'all haven't seen it, and like the director of what's that?
It's good for you to it's good for us to bring each other these movies that we wouldn't know about or we wouldn't see.
And I'm glad I didn't get into spoilers about what I'm saying. It speaks on society as a whole, and it's a good metaphor for, and it's a sci-fi movie technically. It's an amazing concept and executed very well. And Nick, the director of Parasite, I'm brain fart.
Bong Joon-ho.
And he said an amazing during his acceptance speech for Parasite. He said, "Don't let 2 inches of 2 inch barriers of subtitle deter you from great movies, because that's what this is, and I recommend it. So put it on your list."
Cool, thank you.
Oh yeah, number 3, The Platform.
But like, I'll go on Netflix and they're just like telling me to watch The Prom.
Yes.
You're gonna fucking love this. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna watch. Like, no, watch this. And
I
it's
just
like,
made that joke on Twitter. They're obsessed. They want me to watch Virgin River so bad. They're gonna come to my house next and like shoot me if I don't watch it.
What?
Man.
The Prom? Not really.
All right.
Let's see The Platform.
My number 3. See, like I said before we hit record, like those wide releases, the limited releases for like this time of year that get the wide releases in January, I have them on my list. But to avoid all that confusion, I'm gonna go with my literal 3rd favorite movie to come out in 2020. And Nick, you son of a bitch, it's The Way Back. like you said, like we've been saying, like Ben Affleck deserves a Best Actor nomination, but that March release date is gonna kill it. it's like so inspired. Like this is Ben Affleck the movie, like with all the alcoholism and personal struggle he went through. Like that's life experience that he used for that role. And then the basketball, like it's after White Men Can't Jump, it might be my all-time favorite basketball movie.
Wow.
The shit is that good.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like the typical movie, like, you know, the coach comes into the impoverished basketball team and teaches them, the white coach comes in and teaches everybody how to be, great. Like, it's not really like that at all. Like, he's down on his luck, and has to do this. And then there's the part in the movie, the uplifting part that would typically be the end of the movie. And I remember watching it in the theater and thinking, like, oh, is that the end? That's kind of short. And there's like another like half hour, 40 minutes left of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't paint it, like wrap everything up in a pretty bit. Like, it's super personal movie. Super.
Because, man, it's like...
You guys should get commission on this movie. You guys love it so much.
It's really good.
Hey, but it's a testament to Gavin O'Connor, too, man. He did Miracle with Kurt Russell.
Yeah.
He did The Accountant.
Movie. I think Kurt Russell should have got a nod for that movie.
February release date, man.
I remember like standing up and clapping and like cheering when I watched Miracle. I got so into Miracle the first time.
That's a really.
Hey,
I hate talking about it, because I just bracing myself for this big snub that's gonna come.
For sure, yeah.
And absolutely, like
that's gonna be another podcast in a few months, like how angry we're all gonna be about all the decisions, probably.
Because they're. In 2020, the year where like so few movies came out, and it was like they were fewer and further between.
Right.
But we had like 4-month chunk of like theater movies. They're gonna ignore all of those movies.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be like, God, if only any movies had come out.
But
don't we always have? We always kind of have that problem, even without COVID. Like I love the movie Us and Lupita Nyong'o, and she was completely ignored, and I was so angry.
Her dual role that she should.
I was so upset.
Yeah. It's the most like glaring thing. Like usually it's like
a February movie. Maybe Eric would know.
March.
Us was March.
March or April, yeah.
Us was March.
I know you're good with like facts and trivia.
It's usually something we all just roll our eyes over, like, oh, well, that wants that Oscar release date. But it's like this year, it's so glaring. It's like nothing's coming out now.
Yeah.
But it's like, who's the front runner for lead actress? They're like Francis
McDormand.
What? Yeah. Like nothing came out.
What? Right.
Yeah.
Like,
you had Elizabeth Moss in February.
The two best actor nominations I need to hear is Ben Affleck and Delroy Lindo, and I think they're both going to get looked over.
Well, hopefully Delroy. Well,
I think Delroy Lindo's got one in at least a nomination in the bag.
I hope so.
It depends on how they shop him for consideration.
Yeah.
Because technically
they might push Chadwick.
But I think they'll push Delroy for best actor. I think he could pull that off.
I hope so.
He's lead actor. I don't know. Yeah, that movie's kind of weird. Like that
because it's an ensemble.
Will be lead and blah, blah, blah. So we'll see. Same with the Chicago 7. I'm like interested in seeing like
it's so
everybody will probably just be supporting actor.
Right? Yeah. I guess I should watch that, Mick. You're convincing me.
Super good.
What was the other Aaron Sorkin? Was it Molly's Game? Because
Molly's Game.
Yeah.
I liked Molly's Game. I found I think he's a better writer than he is a director.
I love him as
he's a solid director. But it's like you watch the Steve Jobs movie. Like he wrote it, he didn't direct it, and that's a better movie.
Was that Social Network? Like
he wrote the Social Network.
I fucking love that movie. But
and it's just it wouldn't have been the same if like David Fincher hadn't directed.
Right.
But he wrote it, and it wouldn't have been the same if he hadn't wrote it. So it's.
I was like, how do you make Idris Elba boring? That was a really boring movie.
Oh, really?
I like Molly's Game.
Somebody I liked in Molly's Game is Michael Cera.
Yeah, I like reading about who Michael Cera was supposed to be.
But the movie was just like this for me. But yeah, Michael was great, obviously. Yeah.
I liked reading about Molly's Game after watching, like reading who the things were like based off, like who Michael Cera was supposed to be.
It was Justin Timberlake, right?
No, he was.
I thought it was
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey
Yeah,
Maguire,
I
sorry.
heard it was
Oh,
Toby.
I've always heard,
Yeah.
but he's not, so I'm allowed to keep liking Tobey Maguire.
Great acting role. Like you get to be Tobey Maguire as like an asshole poker player. Like what a great role.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought of Michael Cera for that role. Like writing that, like I would have. Who's a dick, famous celebrity? I wouldn't be like Michael Cera. I would be like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Michael has range. I'm here to defend him all day. Yeah, he's great. Love him.
So we got our number 2s.
Number 2. Okay, I'll go first again.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a little talk about this one. It ended up being Palm Springs. But I have a little talk that, it's my own fault. I spend too much time on Twitter and people were just hyping it to the hilt and it really drove me nuts.
That's why I never watched it.
I hate when people really push things down your throat, like better than Groundhog Day. Don't you dare say it's better than Groundhog Day. I can't stand when people take a movie that was
Erroneous.
influenced by something and
And
claim it's
compare
better
it.
than that.
Yeah.
That is a big pet peeve of mine. And so many critics, quote unquote, were like, better than Groundhog. Like that just drove
No
me
way.
nuts. I really didn't even want to like it, but I ended up liking it. Obviously, Groundhog Day is, king. And think
number
about
2.
how many movies. I mean, Groundhog Day was probably influenced by something too. I'm pretty ignorant of that. But think about how many movies have the Groundhog Day formula. I can think of so many.
Edge of
And
Tomorrow,
Palm Springs
Happy
is
Death Day.
It's basically that. The only difference is it's both people are Groundhog Daying through the movie.
That's
Andy
cool.
Samberg and Kristen Milotti. And then, even though I wanted to hate it, I ended up really loving it. It's a good movie, so I would recommend it.
Yeah, I watched that a little. I didn't have Hulu when that came out, so like I didn't post it when I watched it. But I watched it like maybe a month or 2 ago, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
They are both super good in it.
It's just fun. It's fun.
Like, the movie,
Great soundtrack, not cliched choices, really good. Just good acting, good story. I liked it.
Mm-hmm. Super good.
Nick, what you got?
All right, my number 2, it's like we said, has changed in the last week, and it could change. I like to point out that I'm seeing 2 or 3 movies before the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
I
this
have
could change
one
again.
more.
Yeah.
And I reserve the right to change my shit. My number 2 right now is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom,
Nice.
Okay.
available on Netflix if anybody hasn't seen it. It's August Wilson. Is very similar to the film adaptation of Fences in that, it's obvious from immediately it's obvious that it was a stage play first, and
Yeah.
The way the lines and everything, it's all, the settings, it's all written to be a stage play, and that is very obvious. So it takes sometimes, if you ever watch that movie August Osage County with Meryl Streep and Julia Roberts, sometimes movies just they can't jump over that. They can't
Transition.
clear that bar of this is clearly this works better on the stage.
Yeah.
But I thought the movie was great. I thought they made the most of all the thing. And I think, August Wilson's characters, it's like they're written to bring out the best in its actors, whether it's stage or screen. And Ma Rainey's a real person. So
Yep.
Viola Davis, I think she at least has the nomination in the bag for
Right.
this, because she's unbelievably good. And she had to gain all this weight. And she it's not that she just gained weight for the role. She carries the weight in a completely different way, and she adjusted all her mannerisms and everything to play that character. And then Chadwick Boseman, he would have a nomination in the bag regardless of if he was still here. I wish he was, but I mean it's great. It's it's probably his best performance, I would say, in a movie.
Yeah.
That I'm
Nice.
thinking, James Brown, Jackie Robinson, those are great. But I'm thinking this is, it's real showy, but
Yeah.
it's never overindulgent. It's never oh, here we go, that's the Oscar clip. I believed his character would act this way when he was yelling at the other guys or
Yeah.
giving a monologue about his shoes or something. I was I believe his character would do that, would talk about his shoes that way. And I don't know. Like, it was one of those, I just got lost in it. I didn't even, like, think about how long it was. Like, I had to pause it, like, real quick and realized I was almost done with it. And I was, like, mad. I was like, oh, no. Oh, there's only, like, 10 minutes left. But super good. I hope people see it. I hope people watch it.
That's great. I loved Fences. Fences emotionally destroyed me.
Fences was great. And it's the same kind of thing. Like, as soon as you know, in Fences, they'd get home and they would immediately go sit on the porch, and then they'd be on the porch with a scene for like 20 minutes. But you feel like by the end of the movie, you feel like you're in that setting. You feel like you know that backyard, and you are just sitting listening to these conversations. And that's the same thing with Ma Rainey. They're in like a dressing room, kind of like a locker room for probably 80% of the movie. And you feel by the end of the movie, you feel it's like, okay, we're going back to the locker room. And you know what they're doing and what they're talking about and how they would react to this and that. It was just super good. I hope everybody watched it.
Oh yeah, definitely saw it.
Eric, what you got?
At least 3 nominations: Chadwick, Viola, and adapted screenplay.
For sure.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping it pulls like picture,
definitely more than that.
The whole thing, yeah. Because it was
really something. Chadwick, like you said, unfortunately, he's no longer here, and that has nothing to do with him deserving to get the accolades he will and should get.
I think he's gonna win, and so that will always be a part of the conversation, unfortunately. But like, really, from everything I've seen, like that's your best actor winner, like for sure. I'm really just trying to even think of what compares.
Well, nobody thinks that Heath Ledger didn't deserve his win, right? So I mean,
no, but like it's always a part of the conversation.
Yeah,
like,
it's gonna be. It's always because
like,
it happened.
Yeah, so it's the posthumous win, and like what would have happened? It's like he probably would have still won.
Yeah, he just would have been there to accept it.
Yeah, it's like
Eric, what's your number 2?
And here I go, continuing with
here we go.
Movies y'all probably haven't seen.
I'm gonna hang up on you.
So I'm going with animated movie.
It's the Prom.
It's what we consider in North America.
Trolls World Tour.
God.
Oh no. No, so I'm going with Makoto Shinkai's Weathering with You.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet. I think I might watch it. I know what that is. I bought it.
I know Randy and Melissa, y'all heard of it even?
No.
Randy's hell yeah.
So Makoto Shinkai is one of my favorite anime directors. He made an amazing movie called Your Name.
Yeah.
Okay, I know of this.
Yeah, and this movie is that movie to me is one of the best movies I've ever seen ever. Your Name.
That movie was really cool.
Letterboxd is crazy about it. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah, but this one, Makoto was real good with romance, I guess, adolescent romance, you want to call it that. And this movie is no different. And there's always beautiful story, animation, and it doesn't so-called hold your hand through the movie. Because in like Your Name, a lot of crazy stuff happens, and you have to stick with it. But yeah, it's my top 10 is gonna have a lot of animated movies on it this year. And, right.
Mine has 3.
Oh, well, that's
I never watched any.
Yeah. What's that, Randy?
Said mine has 3.
Yeah. But now, to let you know about it, don't look into the story. You might get something spoiled. But Weathering with You, highly recommended. My number 2 for 2020.
I think I'm gonna try to watch that before the end of the year.
Please do. I bet it'll
to add it to my like overall ranking, like on New Year's Eve.
Yes. And I'll be surprised if it don't make it top 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna say there, like you said, a lot of animated movies came out this year. They just pushed those out instead of the regular movies.
But animation is so unoriginal.
What's that?
It's just unoriginal.
I said, but animation is so unoriginal. Why can't Hollywood come up with anything original?
Oh God.
God.
Oh.
Speaking of
We'll
animation,
fill you in on that one later, Melissa.
yeah, that's an inside podcast joke. That's an inside rec league joke.
Uh,
Yeah, my number two is Onward.
Nice.
Oh,
yeah.
It just, man, like, a lot of people consider Onward just like a throwaway Pixar movie, like it wasn't that good, and it came out when like the whole world hit panic mode.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at the box office and just like thought it wasn't that good, like those ignorant people who think ticket stubs equal success or quality. And I grew up the oldest of 5 kids, and just like Tom Holland's character having that older sibling to look out for him, like it hit me like in a personally emotional place like no movie ever before. And then like chasing down that last moment with your dad who he had never known. I never knew my dad growing up. It hit me so personal. Like I literally like broke down like a little whiny baby when I got out of the theater. It was so crazy. So I love Onward like on a personal level, like more than like 97% of people who saw it. Not to mention the the world that they were on, and like all the puns that they would flip, like all that stuff always cracks me up. The references, and man, I thought the voice acting was great, man. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was hilarious as their mom. I have heard nobody confirm it, but I think the stepdad was a walking Peyton Manning reference. His name was Colt Bronco. Somebody proved me wrong. Who was the voice? Was it Octavia Spencer was the character that like gave him the map?
Yeah, she was the Manticore.
Yeah, that's the name of it, man. Yeah, she was good. I think just in the past couple of days, this got bumped out of my 10 favorite Pixar movies, but it's like 11. Yeah,
I keep thinking about, that was like the last like kind of big released movie in the theater. It came out, it was like maybe a week or two before theaters like closed.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it maybe a week early in one of those like early showings. I always think about like when I saw my early showing, the theater was 100% full.
Yeah.
Gosh,
It was
so
like
cool.
prime COVID days, and my theater was packed.
What was
like,
this, March, April, or what?
Late February.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I saw a couple movies in February, I think.
It was March, or late February, one of the two. But like
It came out the first weekend in March.
Wall to wall, like there was not an empty seat. It was completely full. We were all in there watching it.
Wow.
And then a week later, it came out, and they were talking about how COVID affected its box office. And I was like, "Oops."
But yeah, of any list of favorite movies in 2020, I've got to be like one of very few people that have this on a top 10 list.
Well, I heard it was good for sure.
Yeah, it's in my top 10 for sure. It probably was number 1. Yeah, it was number 1 at one point, according to this list. Like your iPhone notes will be bold, like when you put it at the top. So yeah, it's down. I think I've got it like 7 or 8. So it was good. It's not as good as my number 1.
I heard good things.
Yeah. But I think like for Pixar, I think it's become like expectations I think are always through the roof for like original Pixar movie. Whereas like if DreamWorks had put out Onward, it would be like top 5 DreamWorks probably. Like it'd be like, wow, DreamWorks did that.
Probably. It'd probably be in my top 5. Yeah.
Like DreamWorks do a lot of comedies. They do a lot of like the Madagascars and the Trolls, like these comedies. Where like Pixar do like they want to get you the gut punch, the emotional gut punch.
Oh yeah.
So like sometimes it's like Onward. The fact that like Onward is a middle of the road Pixar movie, it's like speaks to their level of greatness. For most people, it's a middle of the road. Not for you. You love it.
I love it.
I got to knock Onward for its Blu-ray release.
Oh man.
To me, it's like lower in my head. I'm like, fuck Onward.
Don't get me on that tangent.
Yeah. Right.
And Mulan and New Mutants and Disney is fucking up.
Yeah. Disney hates you in particular.
Specifically me.
All right. Time for number ones. Who goes?
Yeah, Melissa, time for
Okay,
number ones.
do you guys remember, based on last podcast, what my number one of 2020 would be? It's okay.
No.
It's Tenet. I loved it. I
Oh,
went
yeah.
crazy for it. I loved it. The funniest thing for me was reading all of the Letterboxd reviews because people hated this movie. Like, a lot of people didn't like it. You know, I can't understand the dialogue. Okay, understood. Definitely true. Check. Or I didn't understand it. I'll have to watch it more than once. Definitely true. Check. These critiques are all true. But I told you guys, I'm a big Inception fan, and I don't like watching a movie and then reading about it after to understand it. I kind of like that I don't get it on the first try, and I'm looking forward to the second time I watch Tenet and all of that comprehension washing over me, because my experience with Inception the second time was so incredible, and I'm always chasing that. Like, I loved understanding it all finally, and I became the biggest Inception fangirl after all these posters. I'm sickly obsessed with it now. So I want to get to that point with Tenet, but I loved it the first try anyway. I love John David Washington. I thought he was fantastic. I read a lot of critiques of him too, and I don't agree with any of them. I thought he was great, totally compelling, funny, hot. Everything I like, he was. I just loved it. I mean, the reason I loved it is basically Chris Nolan opens my mind to what a movie can be, to what we can see, to what can be presented on screen. It was just so fantastic and so different and so cool. And I loved it. That's why I told you guys I'm such an Arrival fangirl too. Like, when I saw it in theaters, I was just blown away by the visuals. Like, it opens your mind to what you can see on screen, to what you can show someone. So I loved it. That's my number one. I don't know if it will get knocked out. Like I said, I'm really excited for Promising Young Woman, but Tenet is my number one, and I don't know how it's going to get better than that for me. For me. That's my number one. Thanks, guys.
Nick, what you got?
All right. It's not Tenet. Tenet is actually pretty low, like low middle. I need to rewatch.
Tenet is in my honorable mention.
It's low middle. Because like, I don't know. I was hoping I would have the Inception thing where it's like I expected not to get it. Like, I was like, I'm not gonna understand this.
Yeah.
But, like, get it enough that I would like be like super into the story.
I was like that. I think I was on that edge.
Wasn't like there were just parts of it. I was like, wait, what are they even talking? Like the whole thing. Him and Robert Pattinson like talking, and he was like crying, and he was like, it was like the Jeremiah Johnson. Like the whole thing was like him like. I was like, what are they even talking about?
One negative thing, I don't like how Nolan was so stubborn to push out the movie in theaters during COVID.
No.
That's one thing that counts against it that I hate. But hey, other than that, I loved it.
Yeah, it created a conversation around the movie. Like, whether it probably won't be remembered for its like success or whatever, but like it will be remembered. Like, people will remember Tenet as like the COVID theater movie. That's something. Like, to me, like, that's cool. Like, I'll never forget Tenet.
Yeah.
All right. So my number one, I watched yesterday and hadn't seen it. Is Soul. Disney Pixar Soul. I'm sorry, Randy.
Yeah, you motherfucker.
Stephen Lady says it.
My toes hurt.
Ow, my toes. But,
Hurt.
dude, have you guys watched Soul?
Yes.
Not me.
Dude, oh my god. Soul was so good.
Can I share something right before you get into it, Nick?
Yes.
I hadn't seen the trailer before I watched this yesterday.
Oh, yes. You're lucky.
And was that right?
You're so lucky. Like, I knew what it was about going in, but like, if I just went in completely blind, I would have been so.
I would have been floored. Yeah.
Man, yeah.
I didn't know. I saw Soul, and I think the Jamie Foxx character, him. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a movie about jazz, and I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then I saw a movie. I'm like, whoa.
It is.
Go ahead, Nick. I'm sorry.
And cats, I heard.
But I mean, just like right off the bat, and like the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross score for Soul
Good God.
was unbelievable. Because I remember hearing they were going to do the score, and I was like, that's weird. Like, I was like, why wouldn't they just get like a jazzy score? It's like just they're playing jazz. It's so cool. Like, it's like one of Disney's best. It's like one of the best animation like movie scores I've ever heard. Not to be like, I love Trent Reznor's score. Like, I don't want to be that guy, but like, it's so good. Like, it
is.
Yeah.
God damn it, give them all the awards.
Yeah, like if I heard it outside of the movie, I would never think it was from like a Pixar like family film. But it fits the stuff that they do, like when he's going into the Great Beyond or Great Before or whatever they call it. And there was a lot of like, controversy before it came out that I agree with. About there's very few black leads in animated movies, period.
Yep.
And that Disney have really only done it twice. And in both movies, the characters turn into something else. The Princess and the Frog turns into a frog.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
in this one, there was a lot of controversy that, he's a black character and he's blue for like the whole movie. He's not. But they also do something later in the movie that still is kind of like, well, but anyway.
Yeah, you'll see.
The problem with that, though, doesn't lie so much in this movie as it does the bigger picture, in my opinion. Like, that would not be an issue if we just had more movies, about black characters. We don't. But, like, this movie, still on its own, like, is absolutely a story worth telling and worth telling the way that they tell it. And it would not be the same if it was not, about this character who loves music so much and he loves teaching and he wants to be in this jazz band and the whole vibe is like you watch movies that are about New York or like about Los Angeles and they like make that a part of the story, like it's like like Collateral or something like that, or a movie like where LA is like its own character. It's like this movie I think takes place in New York and it's like wherever they are, like the neighborhood, it's like part of the movie. It's like you feel the vibe of, where he is and the people he's with. And you don't get that from most animated movies. I didn't get that. Like Randy loved Onward. I liked Onward. I thought Onward was great. I didn't get like the same, like this movie, like, I don't know, like the scope and the music and everything. It just like, whoosh. It was like, it just like hit me like way different than pretty much every other movie. Like I really want to watch it again. Like I might watch it tonight. Like before I go to sleep. Like I really want to watch it again because it was so creative and so good. So funny. Like I was laughing my ass off. Like watching it by myself. Like I didn't watch anybody. I was just laughing. And like I don't do that with like adult oriented like comedy films.
I do.
And I was like, just laugh. I mean, there's sometimes like they're just not that funny. But like this, I was just like, there's like a Pizza Rat reference, and there's a basketball reference that made me laugh, and a lot of like historical figure references that made me laugh. But so good, like masterpiece level for Pixar.
I'm gonna hit save real quick.
Disney, right?
I'm saving because I don't want to cut off Eric like mid. All right, Eric, what's your number one?
Yes, that's me.
You, son of a bitch.
So, number one, going back to something we were previously discussing, any other year without this pandemic stuff going on and everything that happened surrounding this movie, you would be, probably more praised and given the more of a fair shake, and it was a sacrificial lamb to see if something would work and see if audiences were ready to get back to the theaters. And my number one movie is also Tenet.
Oh, yay!
But now I've seen it.
You were gonna say Trolls, like the sacrificial lamb. See if people were ready to watch movies again.
Experiment of Trolls, yeah.
And it's real interesting because now I've seen it 3 times.
Wow.
And I had an issue. I gave it 4 stars.
Okay.
4 out of 5.
6 out of 5 for me.
So initially, the little issue I had that stopped me from giving it the highest rating turned out in my third viewing, my most recent one, to not be an issue because I noticed that it's by design. And even it's right there in front of your face. You don't really notice it. Is so Melissa brought up Inception. I think that's probably one of Nolan's top 2 movies. And I'm using yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I'm using this as an example. So there were a lot of personable stakes in Inception.
I gotta shuffle up this podcast panel.
So, so listen, it was a lot of personable stakes. Cobb wanted to get back with his daughter to do the mission, and other characters had their stakes in it. Blah blah blah. And a lot of complaints about Tenet is that we don't get real personable with the characters. And my thing about that is, I don't think that's necessarily a flaw in character development. I think it's by design. I mean, literally, the main character doesn't have a name.
Yeah, like
yeah.
He's credited as the antagonist.
The protagonist.
Protagonist, my bad. Eric is the antagonist of this podcast.
Oh, that'd be. I was about to say.
On your side all the time. Come on.
I'm about to say a name, but we don't want to mention him. But he's a real antagonist. No,
okay.
Somebody is not.
All right.
But we're talking about Academy Award nominations, and I had a conversation with my sister, fancy master's degree in writing, and,
Awesome.
and she like, what the hell is wrong with you? I think Kenneth Branagh in this movie gives a fantastic performance.
Oh yes.
I don't think it's hammy.
I feel like I'm in church. I just want to like hype you.
And I would go so far to say, okay, he'll probably be left off the list because he was the 6th choice to put in the 5 supporting actor nominees for an Oscar. That's how good I think that performance is.
He was so good. Oh yes.
And a lot of people, it's like people nitpick with the criticism, saying he's like your typical Russian villain, and I don't think so.
Not typical for me. I don't watch a lot of Russian violence, so I don't know. But damn, I agree with you. He was incredible, I thought.
Yes.
All the effort he put in, all the effort that should have went into Artemis Fowl went into his Tenet performance.
Yeah.
But
I heard he did, like, when he was talking backwards.
Yeah, he learned.
I heard he did that, like, it's not him. It's not special effects.
Yeah, it's not.
It's him talking backwards.
And,
even better.
And I think a lot of
super unnecessary.
We're all on Twitter and Instagram, but Twitter more specifically. I don't know how it's looking on Letterboxd, but a lot of people who has a problem with Tenet, I at least ran into a handful of them. I realized they haven't seen it.
Oh wow.
And it's the controversy with HBO Max and Nolan being outspoken, and then that's gonna reflect on his most recent movie, which is Tenet, and people like, oh, Nolan, you trying to get people killed. No, it's not that.
I mean, I kind of agree.
I understand where, like I said, it was his movie. Tenet was a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
To see if something would work.
Yeah.
I don't think he was ever trying to consciously put people in an unsafe position. I would hope that's not the issue.
I don't think Tenet was ever that movie, like,
No, it shouldn't have been.
I don't think there were that many people that were like, well, putting on their hazmat suits, like, well, I have to go see Tenet.
And it's like, I think we said this on a previous episode.
I did.
I just think that he didn't care. The audience is a sacrificial lamb.
Well, yeah, you could look at it both ways. That's true.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. That's why I said I don't think he consciously was looking at it that way, because he is a filmmaker's filmmaker. He wants his movies to be seen a certain way.
Oh, yeah, it's obvious, yeah.
It's like I said, it's fair to say that, and I think it's fair to go. But also, Christopher Nolan is an employee of a major company. They could have just said no.
Yeah, true.
People putting the fault on Nolan, like, oh, he tried it. No. He talked to AT&T.
I always blame the corporation. I'm with you there.
Talked to AT&T and Warner Brothers, who is on about that,
You're right
like
about
they
that.
were.
if they give him the choice, and he's going to take it,
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I mean. But no, as far as just looking at the movie as the movie and, shutting all of that out, it's just, 2020 being what it is. And
Man,
but I think what makes a great movie is just like Pulp Fiction and several other movies. It's and when a movie gets better, each subsequent time you
Yes.
watch.
Yes.
Thank you.
I love that you love it.
yo,
Yeah, and
Nolan, man, Nolan is a Scorsese, is a Tarantino, is a Villeneuve. He's as much
Yeah.
the star of the movie as who's on screen.
yeah,
Right. Good point.
that's great great way to put that. And I think in time this movie will be appreciated for just being what it is and not everything that happens surrounding
I
it.
hope so.
And
I don't think so. But that's
and on
okay.
subsequent viewings, I think y'all will come to respect it more.
I will.
Yeah. Woo.
Anyway, that's it. Oh,
Damn, he cut off. He refused.
He's like, fuck that.
But yeah, that's
I'm
me.
falling apart.
That's my
I'm
number.
falling apart over here.
Woo.
Go ahead. I don't want to take up the time.
I said fuck to it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's it. So it's Randy, right?
Yeah, Tenet's actually gonna be in my top 10 video. Not necessarily in my top 10, but I'm gonna talk about it.
Oh, interesting.
That means it's an honorable mention. Yeah, because Nick is a choice stealing, is a ranking son of a bitch. My number one is Soul.
Oh man.
So
Well, I stole Eric's too.
yeah, we was twins. You went first. He stole yours. Yeah, like y'all got the Tenet twins and we the Soul twins.
Yeah.
I knew, like, this is again, and I said this on Letterboxd, I said this on YouTube. Pete Docter has ascended into arguably the greatest Pixar director there is. Like Monsters Inc., Up, Inside Out, now Soul. All his movies are just so good.
Yeah.
He's got like a style, which is like
Yeah.
rare for animate, like big
And
corporate animated movies.
it's that mature themed just story, you know what I'm saying? Like Jamie Foxx, he's his teacher. He has bigger aspirations. Like y'all know, like I rap. I've recorded music. Like I want somehow through some ass backwards way to actually make it. Once he thinks he makes it, accident happens.
Oh.
And it's like it makes you think about your existence, your purpose, and it's like Onward had like that stuff that kids can really laugh at. Soul has like these just real mature like adult moments
Yeah.
that get you to think. And I know Nick again got to be the contrarian. Soul fits into the Pixar theory somewhere between the 90s and present day, because there's basketball NBA references. On Twitter yesterday, I saw a still of a Slam magazine, and that's where I get my window from where it fits into the Pixar theory. Tina Fey is hilarious in this. Just the whole why you sound like a middle-aged white woman made me laugh my ass off.
Like you said, the reference with the NBA, the Knicks joke.
Yeah, that's so good.
on.
So good. I've been messing with this team for years, for decades. What'd you say? Even her, like she goes through this arc that is kind of sad and gets emotional, and it hits all those beats that Pixar is known for. And just like I said, Onward hit me with the emotional and the family elements. This hit me like because he didn't have that support system that you assume would just by default have his back, and I felt that before. Like this year, Pixar just hit me in like the most relatable way ever. Just doom 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 doom, and I loved it. Like I could watch it again, just like Nick said.
It's a part in there that it's not a spoiler, but it's a good lesson about life when they're at a place and they come out the place and they ask the question of like, why have you never told me about yourself before? And the guy just said, you never asked.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
man,
that different
that's
perspective.
so simple but so deep.
I'm about to go do that action in a couple days and just be like, so hey, how's the family?
Right. And then little stuff like that, it matters in the bigger picture.
Yeah. That sounded like Lil Rel. Like I know who it was, but he sounded like Lil Rel.
Yeah. So Melissa, what you think about it? So
day. My watch list is like 1,800 movies long, so. But no, I'm just teasing. Like, I really appreciate hearing people's recommendations. I know you guys care so much about movies, so it means something, you know? I love recommendations. There's too much material to work through, so the more the better. Throw it at me. I love it.
Yes. And I think Nick is the only person to do an honorable mention on this episode, right?
Well,
Oh yeah.
for yeah.
Like a number 4, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of done. If there's like,
Yeah.
what if you guys have one that didn't make the cut?
Number 4, it could be interesting.
Yeah, if you guys want to bring up one that just didn't make the cut real quick, we can do that.
Mine is I only gave it a 4 out of 5. I know to you guys that probably sounds high, but I do all the full range, like from 0 to 5. So, my number 4 was Bad Boys for Life, and I actually went to the theater. That's the last big theater release.
Is that the highest grossing movie of 2020?
Oh,
domestically?
Okay. But I have a little talk about this one too because I am a crazy fan of the first movie. I love it, first frame to last frame. I am just the biggest fan of it.
That's my favorite Michael Bay movie.
Exactly. It's so fun. People talk shit about Michael Bay, but it is. I think I didn't go to film school. I think it's a well-directed movie. I just love everything about it. So my disappointment with Bad Boys for Life is that it is just so gratuitously violent, and I almost walked out of the first 5 minutes. I think someone's getting killed this is like in the first 5 minutes. So I think someone's getting killed in a laundry machine.
It's a year old.
So gory, and I almost left the theater, but I was like, you know what? Fuck it, I'll just stay. And I'm glad I didn't. It was a really cold Canadian winter when this movie came out. And I'm glad I did. I mean, it ended up being a really entertaining movie, really funny. I mean, I liked it because of Will and Martin, obviously, but I just don't understand why these two young hotshot directors come in and they decide to make the movie so violent. That's not what made Bad Boys, the first movie, so great. That's not what people remember about that movie. I mean, that was just a great movie, and I would even say with great performances, great characters, and I just don't understand. Yeah, let's make the movie so much more crazy or violent than the first one. It does. That doesn't.
But was it gratuitous or?
I thought it was. I thought it was.
Gratuitous. I thought it had a point. Never mind.
And I just don't think that's why people love those movies. I mean, to be honest, I haven't even gotten through the second one. Sorry to say, I've tried it so many times. So maybe that's more in the style of that one. But
yeah, the second one's really violent.
That it just doesn't make it more modern to me. It doesn't bring that the franchise to 20.
Well, you probably don't want to watch the second one.
Yeah.
I'll never get through it. I've tried it
a lot of
four times, and I'll never get through it. But yeah, it's just. I mean, hell, it's been almost 30 years or something. I don't know. So yeah, it's gonna change, but I didn't like that change. Other than that,
it's interesting.
Bad Boys for Life is my number 5.
Oh really?
Yeah. My only issue with Bad Boys was how they tried to like shoehorn in and force the whole theme of Mike Lowry's character.
Yes. So out of character from the first movie, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's outside of my top 10, but it's pretty high. I enjoyed that.
But yeah, it's enjoyable, right? It's fun.
Sure. I thought, they did some stuff with some of the surrounding characters that I think propels the story forward to more sequels, which they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Oh, but they ruined their shot at a Bad Boys for Life. Nick, you already did your honorable mention, so you're skipped.
Whatever.
Number 4 being, but it's one scene. Oh, Randy, you there?
I'm always there.
But no, it's something they do with a character that it was when it happened was shocking, and before that, we've all seen it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the best scenes in the movie to me is a quieter scene. It's when Joey Pants is talking about the horse, and I really like that scene, and he was telling them like where are you going, and that, and then what happened after? I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, I kind of saw what happened
after.
It's
9 months. I'm sorry, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I kind of saw it coming because he gave a speech. And I said, his character never really did that in the other ones. I hope something doesn't
Sure
happen, and
enough.
then something happened, and people like we're being secretive as if like nobody understands what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, everybody who's watching it should have.
He gives a
Man.
speech, and then something sad happens. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
I've never been a spoiler censor on here. Captain
Yeah,
dies.
Yeah.
oh no. Oh.
After a very
I
awesome
hate
speech.
spoilers. If
Yeah.
I was like president, like it would be jailable.
You arrest him. Oh man.
I'm so like it's like my religion. I hate spoilers. Yeah, but whatever. I've seen them.
What's the cutoff you think of when to?
Oh, there is none for me.
He said
What's
it's-
that movie from the 1900s with that train going through the like that's like spoiler alert. No, like I'm serious. Like
Oh,
because I go back and
Oh,
watch
that's
old
fair.
movies, right? Like I don't. To
that's
me, it's
fair.
like, to me, my philosophy is there's no value in spoiling movies for other people. So think about
Yeah.
it like that. Like, why would you do it? And I'm the same with TV. I'm even crazy about my baseball games. Like, I'll walk home with like
Yeah, the
noise
scores.
canceling headphones and PVR the game later. Like, But I'm really. I know I'm really crazy about it, and other people don't agree. So it's hard. It's hard.
I like
to do.
NFL for that. On their YouTube highlights, they don't say the score; they just say the game, and
Oh,
you
that's
watch
dope.
and find out.
I just think as
But,
far as like a podcast discussion, it's hard to maneuver a conversation if we're gonna try to
Yeah.
avoid spoilers.
No, I know.
So I give
know
that
how it is.
warning
It's not
beforehand.
my show. I'm just talking about
And
my
it's but yeah, sometimes spoilers, movie spoilers, they go into pop culture. Like
Yeah.
I imagine we've all know the Darth
the
Vader.
Sixth Sense,
and-
all that. I know, and I still don't like that. Like,
Yeah, it's-
so many sitcoms think it's hilarious to spoil, what's that movie? Usual Suspects. It's like, but
Yeah.
you didn't have to make that joke.
Let
and
me
it's
tell you a
not even
whole.
funny.
Speaking of TV shows, a whole organization. Remember that one year that the Emmys showed the season finales of all of the shows that ended?
Ugh. See,
Y'all
that
remember
kinda
that?
drives me crazy.
No.
It was like 3-4 years ago. They had a montage of all the shows. It was the Sons of Anarchy. They was just showing.
Oh yeah, because I remember I hadn't seen the Sons of Anarchy yet,
No.
and I saw the thing of him like
Yeah.
on the
I'm
road.
like, man, they just show y'all just spoiling the whole. I wasn't on Twitter, but I
Yeah.
can
Yeah,
imagine
there's-
it blew
What
up.
I'm very passionate about. There's so much material out there. You can't expect everyone. And as time marches forward, there's so many things to watch. There's so many platforms we can watch them on. Like, let people get there. There's no
Yeah.
value in showing the end of anything to anyone before they've gotten it. Like, that's so stupid. And those articles, like all the TV characters that have died this year. Who would read
And it's just
that?
like a
Why would
picture.
you publish that?
Yeah.
Who would ever want to know
But it's
that?
that's what it is now. I mentioned it's the social media, the information era, and also like
Clickbait.
I made a tweet about
Yeah.
the Mandalorian. I'm like, damn, y'all talking about the episode? It's like
It's
6 in the
like-
morning.
Ain't even
You know,
been
you
on a
can
day, a
mute
full
the-
day
You
yet.
can mute
Yeah.
hashtags and you can mute every movie that comes out. I'm not even gonna see Wonder Woman. I already muted all the Wonder Woman hashtags because I'm like,
Oh
stop
yeah, it would have been.
telling me the ending. Like even if I'm not gonna see it, I hate it. That's how much I hate it.
Yeah, like when a movie, a TV show comes out
Well,
hours later.
Aquaman shows up and sets up the Flashpoint.
It's this arrogance of I know something before you do, so I'm excited to tell you. Like that's what it is. Honestly, I have no desire to tell anyone anything before they get to know it first. Like my whole family knows how crazy I am, so we're all very sensitive. We're like, hey, what point are you in the game? Are you live? Are you watching? Like me and my brother are that sensitive with each other because we'll be like minutes behind.
No, I hear you. It's like my brother. Like, yeah, touchdown. I'm like, shut up. I'm out shopping. I'm not
But like
watching.
I have cable, but my brother will stream, and I'll be sensitive enough to know that he's like seconds behind me.
Yeah. Oh
Which,
man,
I mean,
but we got
movies-
some spoiler talk. This.
Well, no,
Sorry,
no,
I'm really crazy about it.
the big movies that we've had the last couple years that have been real big. The Avengers, like the Rise of Skywalker, like those big movies that everybody's trying to keep hush hush. I find that like the majority of people want to keep it hush hush.
Yeah.
And it's just like you'll get on Twitter and there'll be like some people, but it's like the majority of people are telling other people not to do it. The Mandalorian
You're right.
has been the worst
Yeah.
shit in terms of people not caring about spoilers. Like
Yeah, it's a tweet I was talking about. I'm like,
it's like Aaron said, like you wake up in the morning and just look at your phone, and it's just like a tweet of something, and it's just like,
That's why I have to mute. I never was a Game of Thrones person. Sorry, guys, but every Sunday night, I'm sure you guys know, the whole Twitter feed would be. So I have muted every Daenerys. I know all the character names. Mute, because it's like, come on, man. Like, not everyone in the planet is watching it all at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm glad social media wasn't as prevalent.
I got into that like years after, like just as an example.
Right. Just like The Wire and all that. I watched The Wire like.
So
I'm
good.
watching Golden Girls every night. That's 30 years old,
The Walking Dead, like when it was in its heyday, like I used to, like when it was prime, like seasons like 3 to 5, like its heyday.
Yeah.
I was working a job where I was going in at like 4 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m. I was still watching it at 9 o'clock because I would wake up and I would have texts. Like that's how popular it was at the time.
That was like last back in the day. We'd all come into work and talk about it. Yeah.
They'd be texting me. You'd go on The Walking Dead, like the page on Facebook would be a big still of like Daryl holding Beth or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Like it's been 6 hours. And TV shows are, I think, worse than movies in terms of people.
Sports is the number one worst, and then TV, and then movies. Yeah. Because everyone
like
sports live, except for weirdos like me who PVR games because like they're 3 hours long, right? So
you
can't
fast
always
forward.
watch live.
And it's the because Netflix is the most popular one. It's I like what Disney Plus is doing with the traditional episodic weekly thingy with
I like that too.
Because Netflix, we've been.
I don't hate it.
And
I watched The Queen's Gambit in 7 hours in one night.
Oh.
I think HBO Max is going week by week too.
Stop myself. I can't stop.
You do that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that, but like you do that and you feel like you have problems. Like you're just like.
Exactly. If the show is good enough, then I can't stop. Yeah.
Oh man.
But in reality, it's just like it's a great show.
Yeah.
No, my honorable mention reminds me of better times because.
Way to steer it back to the conversation.
No,
I was trying to.
A good combo about spoilers, but Nick and Randy knows this. I wasn't necessarily bragging. I'm just saying like, oh man, I got an advanced screening.
Nice.
Stuff like that. Because I saw I remember My Name is Dolomite. I actually saw that in theaters. They threw me an advanced screening ticket.
Here. Go.
But Alamo Draft House out the blue sent me an email.
Oh, I want to go back there.
What's that?
I want to go back there.
Yeah, but they have a streaming thingy. They sent me a link in the email like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, okay, what's this? I gotta pay for something, this and that, and then
3 weeks ago,
I clicked on the link and it was a movie, One Night in Miami.
Oh, I know about this.
I want to watch that.
And I clicked on it, and I think Regina King probably be adding a director nomination to her.
Nice.
She's been killing these past few years.
Yeah, and it's really good. It's it's out officially, right?
I think so.
Right.
It came out Christmas Day, but like it's nowhere to be found. Like it's nowhere.
Oh, okay.
It's there. They said it's out. So
hold on, I got this.
Sure, because I saw it and I didn't want to talk about it or spoil it, but
One Night in Miami.
What's that?
It's called One Night in Miami.
Yeah, Regina King's and I don't know if y'all I guess it's fictional. It's about Cassius Clay before he was Muhammad Ali. What happened, Randy?
I have on Letterboxd you can click like your favorite streamers, and if some shit is available, it'll show you on there. And it said just no availability for One Night in Miami. God.
Wow, that's crazy. Uh-oh. Yep, you there? Randy?
I'm always here, bro.
Oh, there you go. I don't know if y'all froze. I froze.
I like how they're just putting out limited release movies in the year where every movie is in limited release.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is super limited.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm glad I was blessed to get that. And I'm like, oh, cool.
You're on your own, boss.
Yeah, I heard it's really good. On Letterboxd, people like it, and I just didn't realize how they were seeing it.
I still don't know, unless that's the only way that anybody can see it. But you look through these like potential Oscar movies, they're like the craziest Oscar year, and it's all these movies that are nowhere.
Yeah. I guess that's definitely what they have to do. I don't know how they choose them. I don't know how they chose. Well,
True,
I'm part of Alamo Draft House, but that's the only one they've sent me as far as advanced streaming.
Right.
But yeah, I liked it, and that's my definitely top 10 or number 4 so far. I still got a couple of movies I got to see.
Okay, my honorable mention: An American Pickle.
Oh, forgot about that.
No, I just said that shit because I knew somebody forgot about it. My my honorable mention is gonna be The Invisible Man.
Ah, there you go.
I still haven't seen it.
Okay, here come all the spoilers.
Dude, it's so
The man's invisible.
Yeah, the man is invisible. If you didn't know,
I've already read so much stuff without even
And
wanting
it's
to.
a woman.
That's what I'm talking about.
like Elizabeth Moss is amazing.
Yeah, I heard that.
outstanding.
There's tension from the get go.
Mm-hmm.
It's really well executed.
I fell asleep on it.
Yeah. If
That's
I'm
insane.
definitely gonna see it, no question.
if we can get MonsterVerse, Dark Universe movies of this caliber
yeah,
being
following.
one-offs on their own, I'll take this over a shared universe. What Eric helped me with the enunciation. Lee Winnell.
Yeah, Lee Winnell, all-seat director.
If
Just gotta say it fast.
yeah, if his
Lee
Wolfman is this good,
Yeah.
it's on my most anticipated. Let's go.
And even Melissa, even if you've heard or whatever, it's watch the movie.
Yeah.
I will.
Because stuff happens. It's Lee Winnell, I guess, showing off basically how it's kind of a masterclass in directing show don't tell.
Yeah.
Nice. I love
And
that.
like the first 5 to 8 minutes, it's like no dialogue.
That's the tension.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. You know, we were talking about narration earlier, and like 90% of the time I don't like it. Because I like show, don't tell. And
Yeah.
Tenet, like, I mean, perfect example. It's just all show, no telling. And people hate that. Or like, what, you know, when they would tell, then people would also hate that too. It's like, I like.
But this movie and something that has to be, because it's always something with the Oscars.
Okay.
And I'm glad Reznor and Ross has been recognized. They've won an Academy Award. They're really unconventional composers. And the score for The Invisible Man, I think, is fan-freaking-tastic. And, you know, but these unconventional scores don't get recognized if it's not a big
genre films in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
for, like you said,
Didn't they do Girl with Dragon Tattoo score?
yeah.
They've
It's like
done
one
like
of my all-time
all
favorites.
Fincher
I
stuff.
freaking love it.
Mhm.
I love it so much.
They've done like
Motion
all
for the
Fincher's
star.
movies since I think Social Network.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, this movie, it'll be totally ignored, and it's just like you said, horror in general doesn't get respected. But you know, Elizabeth Moss is everything
She's
is
always good.
Well,
I mean, I love Handmaid's Tale, and she's a really good actor. So.
yes.
Yeah.
It's absolutely an Oscar-worthy performance from
Yeah.
Elizabeth
Well,
Moss.
I'll
Like,
probably watch it. And I'll probably get so mad like I did with Us. You know.
yeah, it's exactly on that.
Which she
same-
was in also, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
but-
Yeah, I guess she
Yeah.
loves that horror genre.
And like maybe it's because it was the theater. Like I don't. Maybe it wouldn't have hit the same way at home. I don't know. But you know, a lot of movies struggle to like convey tension, like to grab your attention, like not doing anything. Like you said, like all show no tell. Like the beginning of The Invisible Man is quiet. There's no dialogue. There's nothing happening, but it shows you
I'm kind
what
of scared.
is happening, and you're immediately into it. So then, when something happens, doesn't even need to be anything. When something happens, you notice it just like the
jumped.
character noticed it. It's like,
Sounds good.
and it develops that tension better than like it is.
You don't need any cheap jump scares.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
It's you jump, but it's not a jump scare. It's not
Yeah.
like,
Right.
and we'll turn the corner and we're closing the fridge. Like
Yeah.
it's
Some shit that could have happened to anybody.
nothing happens, and you're jumping anyway because you're in the situation with the character. And there's Invisible Man as like one of the all-time scenes, maybe of the year, like the whole year, where like
Yep.
you count on your hands how many times like something happens and like you cover your mouth or like exhale.
Yeah.
Freak out, you can't believe it.
That scene.
There is a scene in The Invisible Man that I can't think of another scene this year that had the same effect.
It's
And
amazing.
Melissa,
not
we
very
can say
many scenes
it's a scene you could be anticipating. You'll never.
There's no way you're
off guard.
anticipating.
So don't worry
like, they're
about
not
that. We're
ready.
not ruining it for you.
Yeah, the scene will start. You're not gonna be like, oh, this is the scene. Like it just
no.
things happen.
I watched The Godfather for the first time this year, and I was like terrified through the whole 3 hours. I was like, this the whole.
Oh, that's
time.
why you wrote that. That was the first time watch.
Yeah, that was first. The whole time I was like that's building tension for me. That movie did a great job. When you guys talk about building tension,
Yeah, I know. I even know what part. I even know what part you're talking about.
Right.
No, the whole 3 hours.
There's a lot of stuff. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Like the dinner.
The dinner. That's
scene.
probably the biggest one, but yeah.
The restaurant scene in The Godfather for me, where he's in there, just sitting there, and he's got to go to the bathroom. Like to me, that's one of the all-time greats. Like, nothing really happens, but it's all tension. There's an art to it. Yeah,
like that's direction. That's editing. Like that's incredible. Just wow.
Yeah.
There's an art to it.
The first two Godfather movies are brilliant.
Yeah, The Invisible Man. I want to perfects the art, but The Invisible Man, it
you guys like it, yeah.
So many horror movies don't succeed. And there were a lot of horror movies in 2020, despite there were a lot of shitty, like subpar horror movies towards the beginning
but
of the year.
That's kind of every year, isn't it?
Yeah.
It seemed like there were a lot. It seemed like there were a whole bunch this year.
Yeah.
And then
Maybe it's just getting crazy and crazier popular every year to do like those shitty.
It's just those cheap to make. They'll make back opening weekend because kids go watch them.
Scary Child.
Yeah, The Grudge came out this year. That seemed like that came out forever ago.
Hey, dude.
No shit.
Boy 2 and
Underwater.
The Turning.
I heard that was really bad. That got like a 1.2 on Letterboxd.
Wow.
The Turning for me wouldn't have been that horrible. Like it really wasn't that bad until the end. For me, really, like the movie probably would have been like a 3, 2.5, like not that bad. Like the ending to me, like they blew it. Like a bit, like you're running a race like at a medium pace, and you're just like, oh, I'm gonna finish the race, and then like the last maybe quarter mile, you just fall on your face and like crawl there, like scraping your face.
No, I retract. Earlier in
movie.
the conversation, speaking of horror, I think the worst movie I probably saw this year was Fantasy Island.
Damn.
That's another one where I was angry at the trailer and would never try it.
Damn.
I gave it to Fantasy Island for.
The reviews.
I gave it to Fantasy Island for trying. Like I was like, I feel like they tried Fantasy Island. I didn't hate it, but like that's an example. Like just stupid. Like
it's a lot of. What about? Have any of y'all seen the movie?
Bizarre. I kind of gave them props for it because I was like, this is so weird. This is not what I thought this movie was about.
What about the I guess it was supposed to be a horror movie with Janelle Monáe.
Oh yeah, the Antebellum. That looked exciting, and then all the reviews came out, and they hated. Everyone hated it.
I kind of liked Antebellum more than the average person. I don't want to spoil anything if anybody's seen it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know it can't be that terrible. Randy, you seen it?
Nah.
Oh man.
I thought Antebellum, what the trailers kind of made it look like it's a certain type of movie.
The trailers looked good.
The trailers kind of make it look like it's like a weird psychological horror movie.
Yeah.
And it really isn't. Like, it is horrific, but really watching the movie, I don't know. Like, I didn't love it. And there's parts of it that I was like, oh, they should have done this better. It would have been better. But I don't know. It's not a horror movie on the same level as, like, Get Out or something like that. Of Get Out.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like that. That's why it was exciting. And then the reviews were just like, don't even bother.
It isn't like that. And I think it threw a lot of people off that were wanting to watch like a horror film, like wanting to watch the next movie like that.
All right, man. I hope everybody had a good time listening to that movie segment. The end of the year top threes, top lists are always fun. But sports, man, like 2 weeks going, I never locked into an idea, a topic of discussion for this sports segment. So NBA's back. Hoops fans can celebrate. That means fantasy basketball is back. A lot of people turn their nose up at fantasy basketball just because they don't have the time or the. I don't know, everybody's spoiled by fantasy football. You set your lineup one week and you're good, but it takes like there's something that it takes to play fantasy basketball to be able to remember to set your lineup every night. Even though there were no games on December 24th. But yeah, like I love basketball being back. Those championship rings that the Lakers got, those were crazy. The detail, of course, all the stones, a lot of Kobe love, which is dope. They're not. I can't think of the other teams. Maybe one of the Golden State Warriors rings. Maybe the Raptors ring. There was a team. Maybe an NFL championship ring had one of those screw off tops. Those are fire. Y'all really like those. But see, I don't even want to hype my Pacers right now. We're 2-0, but we drew the Knicks and we drew the Bulls in those first two. Like, I'm not celebrating off of the 2-0 for the Pacers. I'm happy, but it's a long season. I think the Pelicans started off strong. I think Minnesota won their first two. The Bucks lost to Jason Tatum buzzer beater. I think the Sixers, the Hawks, like it's early in the season, but there's some unexpected teams like winning games. And yeah, by some stroke of whatever you want to call it, man, genius, planning, whatever you want to call it, it looks like the NFL is going to finish their regular season, is going to play all 17 weeks. And with that being said, the next episode of the show, whether I have a sports segment, whether I don't, is going to be during Wild Card Weekend. So I'm not going to, and there's games Saturday, so I'm not going to be this dude during Wild Card Weekend trying to predict the playoffs, cheating and all of that. So again, there probably won't be a sports segment for the show, but if you check my personal YouTube channel, the Monday after the playoff, the day after the regular season's over, the day after all the playoff games are set, I'm going to record a playoff prediction video and put it up on my YouTube channel probably the Friday before the playoffs start. I think I slacked last year. I don't remember if I did one, but I'm going to get back to doing everything on my YouTube channel that I normally do. As Blu-ray collection update coming, end of the year top 10s, beginning of the year most anticipated, NFL playoff predictions, Super Bowl predictions, NBA preseason predictions whenever next NBA season starts, in addition to endless movie reviews. So that the NFL season's over. That means this week, well, the NFL season's over next weekend. Let me backtrack a little bit. We're in week 16 of 17. Week 16 is normally fantasy football championship weekend. I was in 3 leagues. I won 1 championship. So I want to know, get in the comments if you're on the audio only on Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listening. Get me a voice message. Let me know. Were you able to win your fantasy championship? Drop a reply on social media, because I want to know, man. I want to know who was a beast in fantasy this year. In this unpredictable, everybody had injuries on their team year, man. Who was good enough to win the championship? I'm going to come back and spit some bars, and then I'm going to come back and talk about some of my favorite albums that stood out to me in 2020. It's Rec League Podcast. Yo, bars. I think of bars, then I think of drinking. Drinking leads to overthinking. Spoon around that teacup edge and I'm sinking. I'm in the place that is sunken. Too big in this game. Every competitor to me is a munchkin. I brought the gun in. I see a target, then I'm robbing son, no dunking. I'm robbing son, no Grayson. Dick, but if she pull the panties down, it'll be some Dick Grayson. Amazing. Was finna get off, then shines the signal. Got to suit up and go to work. This crime fighting's fundamental. Heroic to civilians who hate whack rap, so I punched on temple. Fugate, that's the clock king. Better check my wrist and watch me. Claim y'all doing work but never clocked in. Try to be comedians but y'all ain't no watchmen. Okay. Final segment. Time to put a bow on the final episode of 2020 Rec League Podcast. I hope y'all had as much fun listening, watching as we had recording and discussing. Not a lot of hip hop really grabbed me in 2020. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I think the year started with that Eminem Music to Be Murdered By. It was fine for a week or two, and then I didn't bump a lot of it the rest of the year. Royce da 5'9" dropped the Allegory. Same thing. Like, it didn't hit me like Book of Ryan did. I know my man Legacy is disappointed. Cole didn't drop an album. Kendrick didn't drop an album. Over the past couple weeks, I haven't been able to finish Man on the Moon 3 by Kid Cudi. I think I finished Music to Be Murdered by the B-side. And it's like this has nothing to do with anything, but since, like if you pay attention, every album from the Slim Shady LP to Recovery, Eminem changed up his style, changed up his delivery, changed up his content. And ever since the Marshall Mathers LP2 in 2013, his delivery is the same, his cadence, his topics pretty much. And it's all like dad jokes. All Eminem's bars now are dad jokes. He raps to get to one punchline, not a punchline as in hip hop, a punchline as in the point of a joke. And I don't know. I don't want Eminem to be one of those artists I stopped checking for. But I don't know how long I can say that Eminem from 1999 to 2010 is why I still give him a pass. Even like Kamikaze, his best album since 2013, his best album since Recovery, because like Recovery I think was his last borderline great album, and Kamikaze still isn't as good as that. But Old Man Lawrence, who pops in and out of this podcast, he, after months of bringing it up, got me to bump some Griselda. And I think all of them, I think Westside Gunn, Conway the Machine, and Benny the Butcher all dropped solo albums. I would say my favorite out of those is probably that Conway, because I still can't get into Westside Gunn. Like, I respect the hustle, but I can't get into his music. I like that Benny, but it wasn't as good as that Conway. Run the Jewels 4 came out, obviously. My most anticipated album of the year. And that's the album I've bumped the most. That's the album I've revisited the most. Again, excuse me. That Coda the Friend is very dope. I went back and bumped that. I like Joyner Lucas. I like Joyner Lucas ADHD album. I haven't had a chance to spin the second project he dropped this year. Logic came out with No Pressure, which is supposedly his last album. And in my opinion, Logic fell off after The Incredible True Story, or maybe the first Bobby Tarantino. But either way, I didn't like. That's when the podcast went on hiatus when that came out, because we were gonna talk about it, and then I just decided to take a break. And again, like, that album was fine, but I haven't bumped it since it came out. I don't think anything really disappointed me, man. Like, music isn't like movies. you can be excited by movie trailers and then walk out of the theater and hate the movie. I am somebody who, if I'm gonna listen to something, I know I'm gonna like it. For the most part, like I know I'm not gonna hate it. Um, like I didn't hate Busta Rhymes ELE 2. I was let down. Like I don't know if Busta Rhymes has dropped a good project since the Big Bang, but like yeah. Like ELE 2 came out. Nas dropped King's Disease, which was dope. Um, and I think I'm gonna put it out there, man. I think Shay Noir, as God Intended, is my favorite project of the year. It's like I don't have a top 5 list. Like I have stuff I listen to. Um, so yeah, like that's my favorite project. RTJ4 is the what I revisited the most. Coda is very dope. Um, and what if Cole drop on his birthday? His birthday's in January. What if Cole drop on his birthday? So yeah, like that's it. I want to know you guys though. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the segment. Like I said, I want to know how you guys did in your fantasy football leagues. I want to know what your guys' favorite movies of the year were, your top 3, like we discussed earlier. I want to know what your favorite albums of the year were, and let's all celebrate surviving this dumpster fire of a year. And whether it's one segment, whether it's 4, I'll see you guys in 2021. So chill until the next episode.